Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We have the final Super Dragon Ball Heroes unit in Eos. We didn't pull any dupes in her, so she is being used at the bare minimum. She's primarily a support unit by the looks of things while looking at her kit. But for the sake of the video, she will be on rotation. She is starting with a 191k attack stat, 181k defense. We do have a linked up with Fu. So she do has Fierce Battle, Godly Power, and Cold Judgment, which isn't too bad. And in terms of what she does on super attack, she'll raise attack and defense by 30% for one turn. She can actually guaranteed seal as well, so events where you can utilize that, like SPR, ESPR, etc. She's actually going to be very handy in. Does start the turn with 120% attack and defense, and then an extra 120% defense when receiving an attack, and then an extra 120% defense again if there is another crossover category ally attacking in the same turn when receiving an attack, which our entire team is, so she's always going to get that. 1.4 mil, but again, I don't really expect her to be doing much damage considering she is primarily a support unit. So I'm not expecting numbers, I'm not expecting her to do anything ridiculous. And then also she will gain an additional defense plus 120 as well. All enemies minus 24% attack and defense, and she has a 30% chance to stun all enemies at the start of turn. So again, as a Super Battle Road or ESBR unit, she's actually very good. You know, she debuffs the enemies, all enemies in her passive, guaranteed seals, supports, and also has a 30% chance to just stun everyone. So as I said, a very, very good SBR and ESBR unit when it does come to the time when you can use her on the category missions or even elsewhere, maybe even in Clash as well. She does have a base 50% chance to dodge, and she will gain an additional chance of evading plus 10% within the same turn, and an additional attack plus 60% up to 240 with each attack evaded. So that does mean, because there's no cap, I'm pretty sure every time she dodges, she'll just get 10%. Which means she can actually get up to guaranteed dodge. I'm pretty sure that's the way that works. So she starts with a 50, and every time she dodges after that, it will go up by 10%. So just then, that last turn, she would have had 60. If she keeps dodging, you can get lucky and get 60, 70, 80, 90. There's enough attacks, you get lucky enough with dodge. She will then dodge everything. I mean, linked up with Demogorgon, we do have Master of Magic. What's that giving her? Attack plus 15% and all enemies minus 10% defense. It's not bad. It's not too bad, I'll be completely honest. Then she also gives all allies key plus 2 and attack and defense plus 40%. Do you want to dodge? No? Yes! I mean, that's an extra 10%. That's an extra 10% again. So technically, that would have been 70% chance to dodge. She actually has jumped up to 5.3 mil. So I think she's dodged about 3 attacks in total, and she does need to get up to 240. So 3, no, not 3. Maths. 1 more attack and she's fully built up. So I mean, her numbers, again, she's not here to deal damage. She's not here to do anything insane. She's here to support. And also, her supporting and dodging, there's not much more you can ask for. But in terms of damage, I mean, her numbers have gone up fairly well. It's still not great damage, but considering where she started, she does build up a ton of attack. You know, that is 240% in total. That said, all allies key plus 2 and attack and defense plus 40%, which as just standard support is still just very nice. She then will give an additional key plus 1 and attack and defense plus 24% for crossover category units, which naturally, even if you're not running a full crossover category team, which we are, so everyone would benefit from it if we did have her in slot 3. But naturally, you wouldn't probably have a crossover unit next to her, maybe like a Demogorgon, a Fu, maybe even both. Or maybe you just will just run a full Heroes crossover team, which means they will be getting key plus 3 and attack and defense plus 64%. So not only does she have very good flat support, I mean, where else could she utilize that? Realm of Gods, maybe. You know, you keep her safe in slot 3. Other than that, nowhere else, really. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to use her on any category that isn't Heroes or crossover, Realm of Gods, I guess. But that does mean the crossover category units are getting key plus 3 and attack and defense plus 64%, which is really, really good. So she's a very good support unit. She also recovers 24% HP at the end of turn in which an attack was received, which is naturally in any form of content gonna happen. Like, she is going to be hit. So the fact you just recovered 24% HP just for the fact she's received an attack is very nice. And I mean, next to Toa, no, Mira, no, Toa, always get them confused. We are on a 914k attack stat, only 170k defense, but I mean, that's fine. Again, usually she would be in slot 3, and she does have a dodge chance. But I can't lie, we're only 5 turns deep, but I'm probably going to have this as the final turn just because she doesn't really do much else. As I said, she's just an out-and-out support unit, and by the looks of things, a very good support unit at that, especially for crossover units, and she has good dodge chance. I mean, 6.7 million, again, she's not here to deal damage, but I mean, considering where she started, it's not bad what she's built up to. Dodge? She didn't dodge. I mean, she's probably going to die now. It is one of those typical supports. It's if you have built-in dodge, you dodge or die, and that's exactly what's happened here. But I mean, overall, a very solid support nonetheless. So even though Eos did die, these heroes units do have a limit. Again, naturally, they do have less stats, and considering her main kind of gimmick is, or 2 gimmicks, is dodge and support, she does both of those very well. Especially with how much dodge chance she can build up the extra 10% every time she does dodge. Of course, you can get very unfortunate like that, and she could just not dodge whatsoever. And then if it is a super attack, she will get you killed. So you could actually take the risk and take her into difficult content. I wouldn't advise it because if she doesn't dodge, again, it's curtains, it's game over. But that's kind of what you get with dodge or die units, especially dodge or die support units with less stats. But for what she's good at, she's very good at it. And I said a very good support for crossover category units. Other than that, she doesn't really do much else, but she does exactly what she says on the tin. And she's very good at it. But you can let me know your thoughts of Eos down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a great day, and peace.